I say I don't think because there's a little bit of me that's always kind of been like, haha, I like how you look. But I really think it has more to do, that has had more to do with, haha, I like how you look. I want to look like that. I want to look like that. You know? But when an adult who has an understanding of what sex means engages in a sexually intimate relationship with a child who does not understand what they are doing, you have abused that child. I don't mean understanding like oh, I know how sex works. It's not like, oh, I'm curious and I'd like to do this. Children don't have the brain development to understand the emotional and social implications of sex. And because sex is more than a physical thing. That's part of my belief. That sex is more than a physical thing. It is more than getting an orgasm. It is more than achieving your sexual needs, your sexual desires. It is about a connection, something deep between you and this other person. It can be beautiful. It's about a commitment. It's about love. And it doesn't, I mean, for some people it's not. But for me it is. Anyway. So, a child cannot understand that. And as much as they might understand the mechanics of sex, they cannot understand, I think mostly I want to say, the emotional implications of sex. Not only that, but as a child, most children they're growing, they're becoming someone, right? And we're all becoming someone, but they're becoming someone. They're in the first stages of life. They're becoming someone, and they want to find someone to say, I want to be like that. And that's usually an adult, usually a parent, if not a parent, at least another adult. And because of this, adults have a power over children that I think is important to note when you are discussing an adult and a child having a sexual relation. And that, the authority in it makes it abuse. And that, I think, is the difference between homosexual adult consensual sex and pedophilia. Oh look, I have wrinkles in my head, but I can't make them go back. Oh, hi. Yeah, mostly I get my wrinkles like right here, like when I'm really intense, but I rarely ever see these little wrinkles. They're cool though. Makes me feel older. I've been talking for too long. My voice is giving out. So I believe something is wrong if it hurts someone. But that's so cryptic. Help me people. Please comment. Help me articulate what I'm trying to understand. Articulate the difference between causing someone pain that is necessary, that might be necessary, and harming someone. And I think sometimes you think you're doing one thing when you're really doing another, you know? I mean, For instance, so Kelly's family was just, oh, I don't know what to say. They were amazing. I felt more welcomed and loved than I have ever felt. And before I would do normal things and they would see it as abnormal. I've always had a small stomach. I've never really eaten a lot. And at the time, my body was doing this stupid thing where it would throw up like every time I felt an emotion intensely. So, okay, a couple times I started feeling so happy I almost threw up, right? Ha. And because of this, I had an eating disorder. So Kelly would, they don't know most of the story, and that's the thing. But 2 summers ago, when all of this was happening, I want to say last summer, because for a year I've been saying last summer, Kelly would have died if I hadn't been there. I don't mean to laud myself as a hero, but this is the fact. She would have died. She went 3 days without sleep one time, and those 3 days she ate maybe a roll during the entire 3 days. Her anxiety had gotten so bad that she couldn't keep anything down and she couldn't sleep. And so we took her to the ER. We almost took her to the ER another time. Part of this was because Kelly had never gained skills to stick up for herself and to do what she needed to do to confront what needed to be confronted, you know? And so it just kind of got out of hand and kept spiraling and spiraling, and here she was being kind of thrown out of, having to be thrown out of the LDS church while being in this gay relationship that she wasn't really sure if she was gay, and it's because she wasn't, because I wasn't either. We were straight, but neither of us knew that I was a guy yet, you know what I mean? And so Kelly's a mix between Kelly's family's reaction to our relationship and Kelly's actions in her life. And between that and Kelly's complete inability to cope with even the most basic of confrontations almost led to Kelly's death. And it wasn't just those days that she didn't sleep. Like, after those 3 days where she didn't sleep, we took her to the ER, or I took her to the ER, and they gave her Ativan. Sorry. And it was the first time that I'd seen her sleep in 3 days. Or, sorry, in 3 days, of course. But, it was the first time in months that I had seen her sleep so calmly. Kelly had a complete mental breakdown at a couple points. I mean, if that wasn't, you know. At another point, she was in the car and she thought for a second, like she had completely lost it. She thought for a second that she was God. And that she can control everything that happens around her. Which, by the way, I don't think we have as much influence over her life as we think we do. But I think we have a lot of influence, but I don't think we have total influence over it. Does that make sense? But at the time, because all this was happening, I was incredibly furious with her family because I could see all the pain that she was going through, and I could hear the things that they said to her and understand all the harm that they were causing her. They were causing her harm. Well, this last month, we went down, and it was wonderful. My mom called me Jack. We've had these stockings since before I can even